Hello, and welcome to another micro-training video, this time on UFM, that is Unified File Management. UFM is a CCSQ tool for secure file sharing and delivery. It is a visual interface for exploring folder content on your workbench, as well as uploading, downloading, and moving files. You can access UFM from your app dashboard, although it is not called UFM, it is called the Go Anywhere app. So I'm going to click it. Now, you might not have access to UFM. UFM can be requested via HARP self-service. I'm going to click into Network Shares, and you'll see that I have access to two org workbenches, although most users will only have access to one. Connections to your org workbench do not exist by default. To get this connection set up, you should contact the help desk where you'll need to provide them with your HARP ID and org name. So I'm going to click into CDR PSA Community, which is our community workbench, and then I'll click Workbench. And you'll see that I already have access to a few files and folders here. So I'm going to click into my example data folder. And you'll see up at the top here, this nav bar already has a few options for me. The primary uses for UFM for our users are uploading data for use within your CDR Databricks environment and downloading reports without PHI or PII for offline need. So you can upload files via this upload button. But also you can manipulate the file workspace here. You can create a new folder and you can move things around. So for example, I'm going to take a look at this diamonds.csv tutorial data set we have right here, and I'm going to click this checkbox, and you'll see some new options appear on the bottom here. I can delete this file if I want to. This send to button doesn't do anything useful in our environment, so I'm going to ignore it. And then I have a download button right here. Reminder that you should not download PHI or PII from the UFM without specific permissions from CMS leadership. Everything downloaded from UFM is considered an extraction of data from the CDR. So despite the fact that you can download anything by clicking this download button, you should think whether or not you should do so. Okay, so anything you can do here, you can do with code, which we will in a moment. Historically, we've had some peculiar permissions issues when using UFM to create files and folders. These permissions issues do not occur with code. So for example, sometimes when users create a new folder and they try to access that folder from Python, they do not have permissions to do so. So all of these actions are more safely done via Databricks. So I will go over to a notebook here and I will demonstrate how to do a few of these things. So the first thing we need to do in order to access our workbench is to mount our S3 bucket. If this term does not seem familiar to you and you have not yet seen the dbutils library, you might be interested in checking out some of our other microtraining videos. We have one titled S3 Workbenches and Mounting and an entire microtraining video on the dbutils library. So here I mount my CDR PSA community workbench onto /mnt/demo. And then here I demonstrate that we do indeed have access to that diamonds.csv file here. And I even show off the first three rows to prove that it did indeed read in properly. Here I don't use, but I show various functions that exist within dbutils.fs that can copy, move, make, and delete things. The mkdirs function can make directories. The mv function stands for move, so it can move files, but the mv function can also be used for renaming. The cp function is for copy and pasting, and the rm function stands for remove. It can delete files or entire folders. So once you've finished accessing anything you need via your workbench from Databricks, the last step is unmounting. This is not an optional step. It is best practice to programmatically unmount your mount when code is finished or at the end of the workday. Okay, so what have we talked about? We talked about UFM. UFM is a graphical interface for managing files and folders in your S3 workbench. For our users, the primary uses of UFM are twofold: uploading data for use within your CDR Databricks environment, and downloading reports without PHI or PII for offline need. Remember that you should not download PHI or PII from UFM without explicit CMS permission. Downloading anything from UFM is considered an extraction of data from the CDR. Your S3 workbench can be accessed from Databricks via the dbutils library, and it is accessing the same location that you access via UFM. So UFM and the dbutils library, by mounting your workbench, are accessing the same file system. So any changes you make via dbutils will be reflected in UFM. All right. Thank you for watching this micro training on UFM, and I will see you in the next one.